Hello guys, and welcome back to our flag-specific tactics for Domination in Black Ops 2. This is Slums, and we are on the B flag where we normally start. Now, this flag is probably one of the more difficult B flags because it is very, very open, and there are lots and lots of ways to get you, whereas you don't really have a whole lot of cover. This is one of those maps where smoke, trophy systems, flak, tactical masks is absolutely almost essential to taking the flag. I mean, you can see, entry points. We have entry points inside. We have sight lines here, coming out of this room, here, back there, of course, on the statue, which you can get up on top of. And, of course, not everybody knows it, but you can, on this side, jump over this way. So, what can we do to get rid of some of that, or at least make our lives a little bit easier? So, we're going to go C to B route first. C to B route is actually the more difficult one. C to B route, you kind of end up having to kind of take from an odd position, and I ended up actually finding that this right here was my best location, and the reason for that was that you'd have to have a guy here to get you. You could get over. So you get a little bit of sight here, but you're advanced of this, so they have to come out through here. Sorry, this C to B. They had to come. The A guys had to come out through here, and you're actually over here. And I've actually managed to take the A spots a couple times from here, and it's not terrible. And again, if you got an assault rifle or anything accurate, you can actually put shots right back through here. Most people will tend to post up right about here, not crouching, but here, and, kind of just shooting across. So, that one ended up being, you're still way out in the open, but like I said, you're kind of in this neighborhood right here, and it's like, right, that spot is actually a really good way to see where you're at, and it just puts you kind of in advance of where they have to go, so you can't really cut any sidelines off using that. Unfortunately, C to B doesn't work that way. Again, like I said before, this area, trophy systems. And if you're going to use a trophy system, I highly recommend just tuck it right back here on whichever side. So as you're coming in, maybe you come in, you're running through here, and you'll hit your button to put it right there. It's not a trophy, but, if it was, it would have been set up right in this area. And that's at least covering the trophy system so that it can keep you alive. Now, this area, like I said, it forces them to come out and around and out of here. And it gives them very, very little shot through here unless they actually, really line up. So you really generally only have to worry about that way. You're going to have to worry about all of it. There's not much you can do about that. You're going to end up having to, keep your head on a swivel for this and just be, going back and forth between these spots. Now, on the other hand, the much simpler, much easier side was the A to B side. The A to B side actually allowed for pillaring about 50% of your body underneath it, behind this cover. Now, it's not perfect. It's certainly not perfect. You still have a wide open area there, but it's a little bit better. Now, of course, you can do a similar thing here, too, and kind of stay here and force them out the same way. But you tend to get a lot of people over in this area. Because this area, you get a lot of guys here, and you usually tend to have one or two snipers or something here, assault rifle guys here. So you do have some cover. We think we estimated you were about 40% exposed. You were a little better than 50%, not much. Up here, it was just too easy because, again, people coming in here. And the fact that people do, on this side, you have this jump spot over here. On this side, there's no jump spot. So when you're over here, you don't have to worry about, is that dude going to be, is that dude coming up behind me? And, since you don't have to worry about that, anybody coming from that direction, you're really kind of, you're still going to sweep this area, and hopefully you've got people over here watching through here. Again, this flag is pretty pretty damn difficult. Its placement is not the greatest. Again, similar to Raid, though, you do have a place where if you have a sentry turret or a guardian, just watch your pillar here and just place them right here, and you'll notice it's very hard to see from over there. You're always going to have these back paths, but at least you can block the main path by placing it like right here, which would be just there, or in this case, it is just over here. And you get them a lot of cover that way, and having them under cover is actually a really good thing. So, this particular map, other than that jump spot, doesn't have a whole lot of really truly interesting bits. There are some spots where you can kind of see stuff, and maybe you can see you can't really jump off here. You can't you can't jump here. So you end up really being forced into that one area there, and that jump spot seems to be one of the few in this area. So when you do this, just remember that's there. It also works really well, but again, it gives that seaside an extra entry point into here, which doesn't necessarily always work the greatest. Now, on this map, I'm going to say this area right here, if your home flag is C, and you are over in this area with a... If you know you got guys down here, and I guess I have to point that out first because that is important. If you know you have people over here, or they're not frequently coming in here, but they're flooding this door and this entry point, if you have a shotgun and you were right here, you can pick a guy, jump back, pick a guy, jump back, pick a guy, jump back, and you can get... I've gotten 5 guys, 6 guys before I had to move, and then just get out of there. So just a nice spot that you can work there. It doesn't work as well over here because of that jump spot, and people like to use that jump spot, especially people that know it exists. So when you're shotgunning over on this side, you actually could do a little bit better over here, but again, it's not as good on that side. This side is... I give the flag advantage to C flag on this map. The A flag is, as we'll go over it, it's not a bad flag, but it's not as... the entry points to B and some other features don't make it as good, in my opinion. So, that should take care of flag B. Like I said, one thing to note is if you are using trophy systems, you can tuck them right back here. They will go right through the material itself, so it's not like the grenades have to pass into line of sight with them. They do not respect line of sight. So if you just throw a grenade and they happen to go that direction, they're going to get eaten by it. It'll take 2. Smoke on this flag, because it's not something... Smoke on this flag I don't find to work very good, again, for the reason that I've stated before, where I can just kind of take an, assault rifle or a submachine gun and just... Oh, hit marker, go back, and the guy's dead, and he's screaming, oh my god, hacks, But skipping the oh my god, hacks part, we get that without having to worry about it. So, that's flag B. Kind of a short video, again. It's not a terribly difficult flag. They didn't give you much in the way of cover. Pay attention to this fountain. That's a big thing. People love to flank. People love to actually just stand in these areas. And I've seen this happen so many times where they're just standing here waiting. So sometimes if you're approaching the flag, maybe instead of running straight out, maybe run up and take a look. You'll see a guy just stare in that direction. And you can take him, and then, another guy over there. And if you're not using, if he's like aim down sights, jump down here, come down here, boom. Take him out, make it silent, make them not know you're there. On this flag, I will say one of the things that I've found very useful, and I can't really show that right now, but I am going to try and get a video where I actually do this, is right beforehand, right before I take this flag, oftentimes, especially if the action tends to be centered on the building, centered in a lot of other places, one of the things I do on this flag is I like to hit my UAV or counter UAV. Anything that does an announcer voice works really well for these flags, because if you have noticed, the announcer can only announce one thing at a time. So if you hit your UAV and it says enemy UAV incoming, well, what it didn't do was say we're losing B. It just said enemy UAV incoming. It doesn't, and we tested this a couple times. Unfortunately, outside of the match, it didn't work. Outside of the match, in here I could do it, but that's cheesy. I'll show you in a regular match one of these days once I get a little footage of that. I do it a lot, so it shouldn't take too long. I just have to remember to do it and remember to record that time. The idea, though, is the announcer can only say one thing at a time. So if he's screaming enemy UAV incoming, he's not going to be screaming the flag is being captured. So if you've got a guy down there taking A, and you jump on B because they've all abandoned B to go defend A, and you hit a UAV right beforehand or a counter UAV, then they won't have the announcer telling them. So they're going to be relying on seeing the flag flashing, which people don't always pay attention to. So sometimes that can give you an edge too. So that's been the B flag. We're going to move on to the A flag and then finish off with the C flag. And I thank you guys for watching. Good luck out there and have a great day, everyone.